Hello everyone, how you doing? Stomp Gamer again. I've turned up my volume a little bit more because I had someone saying I sounded really low volume. Actually, I had one or two people tell me that. So I'm turning my volume up for this short video today. Hopefully I'm not popping. It's getting right close to that line where it might start popping, so we may have to bring it down again. But for now, we're going to be talking about stealth in 3.10 on the PTU. As you see here, I have the lovely Saber, and we have her equipped with 2 Snowblind, 2 Slipstream, 3 Mirage. Weaponry, we're going to slap something a little bit better on here. Let's put, you know what? Let's put some tarantulas on this bad boy. You may have seen in my other video, the tarantulas are actually pretty darn good now as fixed weapons. Do a decent amount of damage, and 4 of them would definitely do a lot. And I just slapped on a voyage drive. I could do an expedition. We could try to go stealth. But stealth drives, let's face it, are painful. And if you're engaging in combat, you can always turn your quantum drive off and then turn it back on if you need it. It doesn't take very long to spool up. I think it's like 12 seconds for most of them, 10 to 12 seconds. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and summon it. And it's looking like my game volume is dead now. Yay! So let's check that out. Options, audio. Yeah, that should be working just fine. So we got the no audio sound bug, which is very annoying and I hate it. Or maybe it's just there and really quiet. Yeah, it's there, just really quiet. Shoot. Hey everyone, it's a noob mistake from STAR-LTVM. Color yourself surprised. Forgot which hangar I'm going to. Today I'm so smart. Saber is in 7. So I did some testing with the Eclipse yesterday. I was going to make a video on it. I just couldn't get any NPCs to spawn. So it made it really hard to test. I did get one friend to kind of pop on with me briefly and test. And the detection range for the Eclipse with everything powered on, but giving the 20-minute cooldown for IR to cool all the way, was roughly 1.2 kilometers, which is pretty low considering the fact that a size 9 torpedo will hit a long ways off. And when he was actively scanning, it was about 2.4 kilometers. So it really looks like an easy way to tell, you know, what your detection range is to pick your highest number and multiply that by 0.5. And then if you want to know what your detection range is when they're actively scanning, it's basically your, you know, your IR. So if your IR is 3,000 when they're actively scanning, they're going to pick you up at 3 kilometers. So let's go and turn this on. Flight ready. And then immediately we're going to go over here to heat and go suppress IR. So we can start cooling down now. Put all our weapons in the same weapon group. And let's request takeoff.
You are clear to launch.
Now you see here on the power you've got that stealth button. I discovered the hard way, don't push that. You push the stealth button and it makes most of the ships unflyable because you just don't have enough power to run all your components. So in my opinion, just kind of leave that, you know, as is. It doesn't seem to make a big enough difference anyway. At least not currently. Hey, landing gear came up on the first button press. That's a first.
Thank you, and please visit again.
Alright, we'll head on up to orbit. One of you use the outer marker. We'll use Everest Harbor, that'll work. So far I've been finding the Saber almost as maneuverable as the Arrow or the Gladius. It's not quite as maneuverable as the Arrow. It's pretty darn close to the Gladius. So if you've flown a Gladius, you know how the Saber flies. If you've flown a Saber, you know how the Gladius flies, which is a little silly, but the handling is very similar. They both do very well for dogfighting. They're very maneuverable. You're going to be more maneuverable than, say, Super Hornet. But where I think you're going to find that the Saber's true strength lies is the stealth capability. Again, it's a stealth fighter. It's meant to be stealthy. And where you can really find that handy is if you're in a combat and a shield face drops. If you can put about 1.5 kilometers between you and the enemy, they lose target lock on you. And then that's a chance for you to kind of reposition, come back at it again, have your shields recharge, because of course stealth shields recharge very quickly. And that's really just, it's a godsend, and I don't think you can underestimate it. Alright, so let's go find, sure, we'll go for one of these. I'm so tired of these resetting, but that'll work just fine for what we need to test. We'll do the bounty hunter evaluation first. I think that's closer. So that'll be like a Mustang Delta or something like that. And away we go. You have to admit the Saber is a beautiful looking little fighter. And what they have added is they've added an additional armor reduction to EM and IR now. While we're in Quantum, I'll take a quick look on urcool.games to tell you guys exactly what that number is using the PTU data. So the hull for the Saber gives you a flat minus 20% EM, minus 20% IR, and minus 20% cross section. So that's going to be pretty handy for stealth operations. And again, stealth gameplay is still basically in its infancy, so we should see more improvements around Aberdeen, right? Let's do that. Clear route center. This is the one I'm going to. No, not Aberdeen. That. I am so tired of the Star Map. Too clicky. I wish I could just press B, lock on wherever the quest is leading me, and go there without having to mess around with the star map. But that's one of the things they are reworking, so hopefully we'll see some changes. Alright, so keep in mind we're not fully cooled. So we're not going to be as stealthy sneaky. Oh, don't put me in the damn asteroid. God dang it. I am so tired of being quantumed into an asteroid. It makes all of this much more difficult. Alright, so right now our IR is 4.3. I know for a fact it goes down to about 1500. So we should be detectable right now at about 2 kilometers. Now, luckily our gun range is more than 2 kilometers. But once you target onto something, see, I doubt our bounty is going to show up. We'll close to within 3 kilometers of it and see. But you'll see you got good roll on the Saber, excellent pitch, good yaw, and she definitely accelerates pretty well, nice and linearly. Alright. Alright, so there's a contact. So for once it showed up. Now if I lock this guy, or girl, sorry, equal opportunity to kill her, it'll advise them of our presence. But so we see them at 5.29 whatever away. There's no way they see us yet. So we'll kind of edge up and we'll look for movement from the enemy. Like I said, it should be roughly 2 kilometers at this point with our current loadout. And again, it takes 20 minutes to cool down all the way, so it's kind of annoying. You have to plan in advance. And let's face it, I just don't have time lately. I just found out that I'm getting downgraded from captain to first officer. They're furloughing almost half of our company and downgrading over 400 captains to first officers as part of coronavirus. So to say I'm not in a great mood today is an understatement because my income's being cut in half. To give you an indication, I'm going from about 100,000 a year to 50, which may sound like a lot, but I still live in the DC area, which makes 50,000 is not enough to pay for where we're living or to cover child daycare, etc. So we're going to be scrambling. My channel may go through some changes and I may not be able to post as much because I may be down to a point where I just cannot do videos or have internet. So we'll see. I'll try to keep you guys updated. That's going to be a rough couple of, well, years most likely. Alright, we're at 4 kilometers. Still hasn't seen us. And move up a little bit more. There's 3.8. We'll bring the speed slider down so we're nice and slow. So 4.2, so it should be roughly 2.1 kilometers when he sees us. Which is, like I said, well within the range of our weapons. Shh, be very, very quiet. We're hunting NPCs. See, the range of the tarantula is... What's the range? Show me the range. Ammo range is 3.1. So let's close to 3.1 and see if we can just sit here and snipe him from distance with ballistic weapons. Problem with using energy weapons is it has a higher signature. 3.7, he hasn't seen us. 3.6. And again, this is mostly only good against NPCs, because if you start shooting a player, they're just going to follow the shots. Since everything you use in game is visible other than torpedoes. And once you lock a target, they know you're there. So if you lock someone with a torpedo, they're going to know you're around, they're going to start active scanning, they're going to start boogieing out. 3.4. So this is definitely more for playing with toys. And actually, let me come to a quick stop here. We can reduce our EM even more. Go into power. Is it power? Oh wait, never mind. I can just go to this screen. No? Power. Items. Why is it not showing my items? Don't tell me we're looking at a 30k. Let's close to 3.1 real quick. I don't know why my MFDs aren't working. Hopefully it'll still work for this. Three point 3.1. 3.1, he should be in range. We hit him. And he sees us at 2.3. So, at about 2.3 is when we saw him, but we already got 2 hits on him from range. So again, kind of as expected, it was 2.3 kilometers is where he was able to see us with our current EM, which is now down to 4.1. Let's head to this other one. Well, let's see where it is first. A little upset that my... Alright, that'll work. Maybe in Quantum we can get our MFDs working again. Again, MFD is multi-function display. It's something you can, using these screens, you can have different things showing up and you can adjust different things. Like this should be showing right now our power levels, but instead it's showing us nothing. So I don't know why our MFDs are now broken. Like that's not our heats. That's not heat. Yay for fun bugs. probably turn the ship on and off again, but then it would reset our EM and IR. So we'll let it cool down some more and keep going to the next bounty. So one thing to keep in mind is as you cool down and your detection range increases, you can get closer and closer before they'll pick you up. You know, and that's that annoying contact when you come into range. So if you can get into range before they get the contact notification, you'll get the first shot. And depending on which weapons you're using, that first shot may not be enough to kill them, but it may be enough to get a shield face down. It may be enough to do significant damage to them, or even just the emotional aspect of, oh my goodness, I'm getting shot at, where the heck is that coming from? And then they pick you up. It gives you time to get 1 or 2 shots in there and maybe take them out before they really have a chance to respond. Now if you're using Predator scatter guns, it gives you a chance if you're closing at speed, you'll be able to close up on them and they'll be like, oh, they're cut, and then you've just now fired 4 shotguns at them. Alright. Let's see where this guy shows up. We'll try to disengage and see if they lose us at this point. So we're going to go ahead and come in, get the NPC to spawn, and then we're going to try to get about 2 kilometers away and reset the engagement because they'll lose track of us. If they spawn, that is. Because I don't know if anyone's noticed, that has been an issue on the PTU. There we go. So there's the enemy. We're 400 away. He can clearly see us. Put a little boogie in our step so he can't hit us easily. Switch backwards. How far away are we from you? 2.1. Ah, hang on. Well, that went well. Issue with that is, ladies and gentlemen, is with stealth shields, you have less shields. And what had happened here was a failure to communicate in that I should have just stayed moving forward to get away from them, to then reset. So that was just poor piloting, and you can laugh at that. Like, comment, and subscribe, and say, Stompar, you stink, and I will chuckle. But anyway, so we saw the detection range is down to about 2 kilometers for the Saber with everything on. All the shields, everything on. You're going to sacrifice some tank ability. So a lot of the people like to use in the combat, they'll use like a Mirage, an FR-66, and a Palisade. So they got 1 industrial, 1 military, and 1 stealth to give multi-layers of shielding. So they're getting the ballistic penetration, they're getting some of the stealth reduction and instant regen, and then they're getting some steady regen with decent shield size for the military. But if you do that, you're going to lose a lot of the stealth capabilities of the ship. And again, you know, it's a tough balance as you're seeing. You got to figure out, all right, am I going to go for the alpha strike? Am I going to try to disengage and get away? At that point, NPCs now chase you, as you saw there, and we weren't moving fast enough while flying backwards. I should have stayed forward and gone up to full speed to get away from the alpha and then come back. But whatever, it was a fun test. That's the entire point of playing around on the PTU. Other than that, I'm not going to entertain you guys with me running back to a train and claiming the ship. Just suffice it to say, like I said, the Eclipse, I was able to get it down to about 1.4, 1.2 detection range, and the Saber's right around 2, 1.5 to 2, depending on how long you're willing to wait to cool down for detection. So use that information as you guys want. Stealth is usable. Would I run it? Situationally. It can be fun to snipe at NPCs. I just don't see it being very handy against players. Because like I said, even if you're at a range and you're just eyeballing them and shooting them and not locking them, they can still see where the rounds are coming from. They're still going to attack. So I think stealth still needs some more rework. So that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the very short video. And take care, everyone.